I love talking about this stuff. Boyfriend didn't disclose that his friend was an ex. My female 28 boyfriend, male 29, of almost a year, didn't disclose that his close friend is an ex until I confronted him about it. When I asked why, he said he was hesitant to tell me because he didn't know how I would react, and as a result, didn't know when would be the right time to disclose it. They go skateboarding often, sometimes in a group, sometimes one-on-one. To be fair, we've been introduced to each other and have hung out in a group setting a few times. They dated 2 years ago and were broken up for a year before I met my boyfriend. I feel uncomfortable with this. Not by the fact that they're still friends, but by how him choosing not to inform me feels like he took away my right to exercise my boundaries. He's essentially choosing to do something he wasn't sure I was okay with or not. I'm uncomfortable about how we've hung out in groups with both of them with this knowledge and me being in the dark about it. It feels like he's prioritizing their friendship over their relationship. Should I discuss my feelings about this with him? What has happened, and I'm not sure if bringing this up would do any good.
I wonder how serious they were.
Yeah, we don't know actually how long they've been together. The way that she says it is they dated 2 years ago, they were broken up for a year, and then she's been in a relationship with this guy for the past year. So we don't actually know how long they dated.
Yeah. I don't know. I would be curious to see like how serious they were.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's a tough one. That is like really hard.
I would be very upset about this.
Yeah.
I would not like it. And I think that if I started dating someone and they had a very close girlfriend and even if they told me this person is my ex, my first thought would be weird. Why are you friends with your ex? And I get that some people, depending on the relationship, maintain relationships with exes if they were in the same friend group. If the relationship wasn't that serious and they were like, no, let's not do this, like back to just friends. Some people have the ability to move on. But I think that so many times in relationships, people hang on to friendships when they don't want to let people go fully. I would feel the same way, I think. And I'd be like, you are prioritizing the friendship over our relationship. Mm-hmm. And I think that in the beginning of a relationship, especially, that is when trust is earned. That is when both partners are doing things and exemplifying habits that let trust be formed. Mm-hmm. So I think that if I've met someone and they were like, yes, I am best friends with this girl, but we did date in the past, I would be like, that's weird. And maybe I would keep going if I was excited about this person and into them, but I would be very wary of it at first. And it would take a while for me to form trust regarding that relationship with this person that I just met, who I'm entering a relationship with. It would just take so much longer for me to gain their trust.
Yeah, I would appreciate knowing, and I think that it would make me trust both of them more knowing. You know what I mean? Like being like, hey, just so you know. Like,
absolutely.
Whatever, like we dated for a little bit. It wasn't it, you know what I mean? Like we're still good friends. Like, you know, they're in our friend group. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know, if I wanted to be with them, then we would be together. We hang out all the time, you know what I mean? But
that's a good point.
But it would be nice to just be aware of that.
I also feel like because they didn't tell OP, it is lying by omission, because how many times, like if you're dating someone for a year and you're in the same friend group and you've had an ex, like does your past relationship never come up? And if it does, do you just pretend, like does this guy just pretend that the ex that he's referring to isn't his best friend? Like that's a lie to me. Mm-hmm. Like, because when I enter a relationship with someone, I think a foundation in getting to know someone is learning about their past relationships. And I think it's okay to talk about exes when you're having honest conversations and getting to know someone, because who your exes are, they made you who you are in a way. Every relationship we have shapes us in a way, whether it's good or bad or neutral. Your past experiences shape you.
Yeah.
So have you not had one conversation about your exes and your past relationships with your new boyfriend? And if you have, is he literally telling these stories as if he doesn't talk to this person anymore? Right. He's like, oh yeah, my ex did X, Y, and Z. And my best friend does X, Y, and Z. And he's just omitting the fact that they're the same person. Yeah. That's lying.
Yeah.
No, I don't like it. I really don't like it.
No, yeah. It seems suspicious.
Yeah. And the fact that he's like, oh, well, I didn't know a good time to tell you that. The good time to tell someone this is the first time they ever meet. Or like before they meet, be like, oh, by the way, I'm friends with this girl. You're going to meet her tonight. We did date in the past. This is all the information about the relationship. This is everything you should know. Let me know if you have any other questions, and you'll meet her later.
Yeah.
Like, that is the best thing. And I get that people make mistakes. Maybe they don't think about that in the moment. But to just keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, like, and now it's a year later and he's like, oh, well, I didn't know a good time to tell you. That shows that he has something to hide. Because if there was nothing to hide, it's like, why don't you feel comfortable sharing that?
Yeah, I don't know though, but I feel like it is kind of hard to like bring up. Like in some ways, I think like you should, but like I don't know, I could see it being like a little bit hard to bring up.
I feel like it would be hard to bring up in just a normal setting where if you're just talking about like the dinner that you're eating, and then he's like, by the way, Rachel's my ex, and you'd be like, what? But how many times have they talked about their friends, their past relationships, like an experience they had? Like, if you date someone, odds are you have experiences with them. So there are things that I've done with my first boyfriend that have come up in conversations with future relationships and more current relationships, and I'm like, oh yeah, we did X, Y, and Z activity. I actually did that with my first boyfriend. And it's like, has that never come up? Like, you're talking about your life and your experiences. Like, all of those would be great times to say it. Like, I think that all of those times that it has come up, he has made it awkward. He has been like, oh, it's not a good time to bring it up. And like, I think that if something had absolutely like zero weight or wasn't weird at all and you had nothing to hide, I think any time could be a good time to bring it up. But because there's something behind it and there's weirdness attached to it and weird emotion and you're scared of how they're going to react, like all of those things make it important. Like all of the things that make it awkward to bring up make it important to bring up.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I do agree with that. I just think it's like awkward just to like...
Oh, it's so awkward.
It's just an awkward conversation to have to bring up. You know what I mean? But it's something that needs to happen.
Yeah. No, I think so too. I would be just very upset that it took this long.
Yeah. And again, I'm just really curious of how serious they were.
Yeah, because I do get that, like, if someone dated in high school for like a few months and let's say now they're in college and it's like, oh yeah, we did date, but we remained friends, that's different. But yeah, if it's like your main ex and you would be upset if your best friend started dating them because you're like, dude, what do you mean? Like, that's like friend code. You don't date someone's like most influential ex that they had.
Right.
Like, if it's that person to him, that's a problem. But if it was just like a casual, chill relationship, maybe I'd be able to get past it. But I also would be like, why did you think you could not tell me this? Like, if it really means nothing and you guys have no hidden emotion and the only thing you feel towards each other is platonic friendship, like, I'm a reasonable person too. Like, you can talk to me. And maybe that's the conversation. I don't know. I would be so weirded out by it. I do think I would try to be open-minded and trust the person that I've been trusting for the past year. But I would be like, what the frick?
It would still be hard. I
think,
yeah. What do the comments say? Now I'm curious too on this one. Because I think that we're on the same page, you and I.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do appreciate how you are more open-minded. Like, in my opinion, and this is because this is how it's been in my life, I just think there's no reason to talk to exes. And I have seen people try to maintain relationships with their ex because they're not truly happy in the current situation. And I get that people have dated and maybe like 10 years go by and they just had a kid and you're like, hey, dude, I know I haven't talked to you in forever, but we did have each other in our lives. And I just want to say, I'm so happy for you and you look so happy and go off. Like, I did that with a girl that I was best friends with in high school. And then we just drifted. She ended up getting married and I saw her wedding photos on Instagram and I'm like, she looks so happy and just like, she's thriving in life. And I did reach out to her and say that. I was like, I'm so happy for you. You looked so beautiful. You look so genuinely happy. And I'm so happy for you. Like, hope you're doing well. So I get why you would want to do that with someone that you dated that you only have happy memories of. I get it. And I do thank you for that. Like, I feel like you have opened my mind. And the comments that we get on YouTube say the same thing. Like, a lot of people agree with you or like put other relationships into perspective for me. So I appreciate that you're not quick to just be like, never talk to your ex and that's it. Hard line.
Yeah, it's hard. I don't know.
Somebody said, totally fair. That one part about you not being uncomfortable by the friendship as much as him obscuring the truth and denying you the chance to input is bang on. Yeah. You know your worth. I think that, yeah, OP is very emotionally mature because she's like, he didn't give me the choice to either be okay with it or not. He just omitted it from me. And she should be able to have that choice.
Yeah. Yeah. That put into words how I was feeling about it. I feel like, you know.
Yeah. Relationships are built on trust. Hard to do that when he hides things from you. True. Yeah. Someone else said, 2 thoughts. He could have told you, but wasn't obligated to. I would have, just to avoid what's happening now. But that's his call. Number 2, tons of people stay friends after they break up. I agree that tons of people do it, but I also think that tons of people do it because of ulterior motives.
I don't think it's always that.
It's not always that, but I think that a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just thinking of like specific instances where people are like unhappy in their current relationship status and they're like, yeah, but me and my ex, like we ended on good terms and they no longer live near each other. They have no connection, but every few months they're just like, hope you're doing well. And it's like, that's just prolonging your healing.
Yeah, no, believe me. I hear that.
But no, see, this is why you're opening my mind. Because I am quick to be like, tons of people stay friends because of ulterior motives. And you're like, yeah, but that's just not always the case. And I'm like, okay.
Right. Yeah, not always
that's
the case.
Important
but
to remember
I definitely
too.
understand and recognize that too because I have someone that still texts me like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is not.
Yeah.
That's not wishing me well. That's wishing that we were still together. And that's very different than wishing me well.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it also has to do with the time that goes by in between.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're going to be friends with someone the day after you break up, in my opinion, I don't think that's healthy. Because how can you totally get over a relationship when you're still maintaining a relationship?
Right.
I think something that is so crucial to healing is going no contact, and how people say out of sight, out of mind. Like, that's actually true. That's why when you break up with someone or if someone does you wrong, literally block them. Don't keep watching their stories. Don't follow them on Instagram just because you're interested or like, oh, I want to be nice. Like, no, if you are done with someone forever and you're really trying to move on from them and you're having trouble getting over them, like, I think one of the best things you can do is unfollow them. And it's not mean. It's for your own mental health.
I agree. No, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also to not text them on their birthday. Not texting your ex on their birthday or not wishing them well in a text message every few months. Like, that's not mean. That doesn't make you a bad person. That doesn't mean you're never thinking about them. That means for your own mental health, you are maintaining distance because you need to move on from this.
Yeah.
Because it's no longer serving you in life. This relationship is over.
Yeah. And you're keeping that door shut and like, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like once you let that no contact time happen, maybe friendship could be formed. It's never happened in my experience, but obviously it happens in life. But I think that no contact period of healing is very important.
Yeah.
And I think that might be the root of how I feel about being friends with exes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.